This is Hamishi, the fifth reading of our weekly Torah portion of Vayikra. It's a new book of Leviticus that we started. We just recently started the book of Leviticus. It's not a new book, but newly this year. And Hamishi is the fifth reading found in Leviticus chapter 4, verse 1 through 26. 26 verses. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Daber el bnei Israel lemor. Nefesh ki techeta mishkaga mikol mitzvot Adonai. אשר לא תעשינה ועשה באחד מהנה. Speaks to the children of Israel, saying, if a person sins intentionally by committing one of all the commandments of the Lord which may not be committed, and he commits part of one of them, אם הכהן המשיח יחטא לשמתם ויקריב על חטאתו אשר חטא בין בקר תמים לאדוני לחטאת. If the anointed Kohen sins, bringing guilt to the people, then he shall bring for his sin which he has committed an unblemished young bull as a sin offering to the Lord. והביא את הפר אל פתח אוהל מועד לפני אדוני ושמח את ידו לראש הפר ושחט את הפר לפני אדוני. And he shall bring the bull to the entrance of the tent of meeting before the Lord, and he shall lean his hand forcefully upon the bull's head and slaughter the bull before the Lord. ולקח הכהן המשיח מדם הפר והביא אותו אל אוהל מועד. And the anointed Kohen shall take from the bull's blood and bring it into the tent of meeting. וטבל הכהן את אצבעו בדם ויזל מן הדם 7 פעמים לפני אדוני לפני ברוך את הקודש. And the Kohen shall dip his finger into the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the dividing curtain of the sanctuary. ונתן הכהן מן הדם על כנות מזבח קטורת סמים לפני אדוני אשר באוהל מועד. כל אדם הפר ישפוך על יסוד המזבח העולה אשר פתח אוהל מועד. And the Kohen shall place some of the blood on the horns of the incense altar, which is in the tent of meeting before the Lord, and he shall pour all of the blood of the bull onto the base of the altar used for burnt offerings, which is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. ואת כל החלב פן החטאת ירים ממנו, את החלב המכסה על הקרב, ואת כל החלב אשר על הקרב. And all the fat of the sin offering bull he shall separate from it, the fat covering the innards, and all the fat that is on the innards. ואת שתי הכליות, את החלב אשר עליהן אשר על הכסלים, ואת היותרת על הגבין על הגאון ידירינם. And the 2 kidneys along with the fat that is on them, which is on the flanks, the diaphragm with the liver, along with the kidneys, you shall remove it. כאשר יורם משתור זבח השלמים, והקטירם הכהן על מזבח העולה, Just as was separated from the bull, peace offering, the Kohen shall cause them to go up in smoke on the altar for burnt offerings. וידור הפר את כל בשרו ואת על ראשו ועל קרב בקרבו ורישו. He shall then take the bull's skin and all of its flesh, along with its head, and along with its legs, its innards, and its waste matter. ויוציא את כל הפר אל מחוץ למחנה אל מקום טהור אל שבח הדשן ושרף אותו על העצים באש על שבח הדשן יישרף. He shall take out the bull to a clean place outside the camp, namely to the ash depository, and he shall burn it on the wood. Thus it should be burned in the ash depository. ואם כל עדת ישראל ישוגו ונעלם דבר בעיני הקהל יעשו אחר מכל מצוות אדוני אשר לא תעשנה והשמו. And if the entire community of Israel errs, okay, so now we're at exactly half. So let's this is part of the reconciliatory work at Sephardim and Ashkenazim. So now to go with the Ashkenaz. ואם כל העם ישראל יושגו ונעלם הדבר מעיני הקהל ויעשו אחת מכל מצוות אדוני אשר לא תעשנה והשמו. And if the entire community of Israel errs because a matter was hidden from the eyes of the congregation, and they commit one of all the commandments of the Lord, which may not be committed, incurring guilt, ונעידה החטאת אשר חטאו עליה והקריבו הקהל בר במקור לחטאת והביאו ישראל לפני המועד. When the sin which they had committed becomes known, the congregation shall bring a young bull as a sin offering. They shall bring it before the tent of meeting. ושמחו זקני יהודה את ידיהם. The elders of the community shall lean their hands forcefully upon the bull's head before the Lord, and one shall slaughter the bull before the Lord. The anointed Kohen shall bring some of the bull's blood into the tent of meeting. And the Kohen shall dip his finger from the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord, before the dividing curtain. And he shall then place some of the blood on the horns of the altar that is before the Lord in the tent of meeting, and then he shall pour all the blood onto the base of the altar for burnt offerings, which is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And he shall separate all its fat from it and cause it to go up in smoke on the altar. He shall do to the bull just as he did to the bull of the sin offering, thus he shall do to it. Thus the Kohen shall make atonement for them, the community, and they will be forgiven. And אל מחוץ למחנה וסוף ויסוי כאשר סוף וספון הראשון חטס הקהל הוא חטס הקהל הוא. And he shall take the bull outside the camp and burn it, just as he burned the first bull. It is a sin offering for the congregation. Asher nasiyecheto v'yasa achaz mikol nitzochis Adonai Elohim asher lo tiyasena hishkagam Hashem. If a leader of Israel sins and unintentionally commits one of all of the commandments of the Lord, which may not be committed, incurring guilt, if his sin is that he has committed, his sin that he has committed is made known to him, then he shall bring his offering, an unblemished goat. And he shall lean his hand upon the goat's head and slaughter it in the place where he slaughters burnt offerings before the Lord. It is a sin offering. And the Kohen shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and place it on the horns of the altar used for burnt offerings. And then he shall pour his blood onto the base of the altar used for burnt offerings. And he shall cause all its fat to go up in smoke on the altar, just like the fat of the peace offering. Thus the Kohen shall make atonement for his sin, and he will be forgiven.